What's up everybody, this is Phreakyphil and this is going to be me showing you how I set up my YouTube. So I'm going to show you settings for Dxtory, Sony Vegas, I'm going to show you what I do in my Photoshop, I'm going to show you how to upload to YouTube and every little bits and drabs and little details I do in between and thereafter. So hopefully this shouldn't be too much of a long video, and there should be about 6 parts in total, tops I'm guessing. So let's start. First thing you want to do is get hold of a copy of Dxtory. Now, the only reason I say get hold of a copy of Dxtory is because that's what I use. If you want to use Fraps, go ahead, use that. If you want to use something else, go ahead and use that. But this tutorial is specifically for Dxtory only. I will be putting that in as part of the title. So if you think it's going to be anything other than Dxtory, skip along, because I haven't got any other information for you apart from Fraps, which I don't want to do. Okay, Dxtory is the one for me, that's the one I use, so that's what I'm going to show you. Anyway, to the point. Get yourself a copy of Dxtory. However way you need to get a copy, get yourself one. Once it's installed, open it up and follow this. Right? Now, in the target tab, I have zero, nothing, no settings. Ignore it. In the overlay, those are my settings. I have got use default setting, ticked. I have got record status, ticked. And those are my colours, and that's where the position of my recording symbol will go when I'm recording. Next one, folder. Ticked user default setting. Okay. Now, this one, I don't need this hard drive in there anymore, but I'm keeping it just in case. That's my main hard drive, what my Windows and some of my games are recorded to, and some of my games are installed on. This, however, is my separate expansion drive, and that is where I'm currently recording my Dxtory to. The reason for that being is that it's faster than my actual hard drive within my computer. Okay, if you haven't got an expansion drive, don't worry about it, just record to your standard hard drive. It shouldn't be too bad unless it starts getting really full, and then you'll start noticing lag in your games when you're recording. Anywho, let's just pretend that this expansion drive of mine is my original hard drive. So what you want to do is you want to set yourself up a file within that drive to record your software and your games to. Right? So we'll go to start. I mean, I've got Windows 7 running, but if you're doing something else, if you're doing 8 or XP or Vista or whatever, you just go where you need to go. Okay, but for me, I'll go to start, computer, I'll select my drive that I want to record to, right click, new folder. Once it's in, rename it to whatever you want to rename it. I'll just rename mine to Dxtory. Exit out of all that, come back to your Dxtory panel, then you go add a folder, you find where it is, open up, there's my drive, open that up, then you've got your folder there, mine's Dxtory as I just stated. You click OK. Once you've clicked OK, it'll throw it up like this. Tick it. Make sure it's ticked. Even if you've got 15 drives, make sure the one you're recording to is ticked and no other, because you're going to be doubly recording or triply recording, or however many drives you've got ticked recording to, and you don't want that. You just want to be using one drive, so only tick one box. Okay, that there is the benchmark. It's good to click that before you ever start using Dxtory, because it gets a rough benchmark of how much your hard drive can handle. Once you've recorded on it for, I'd say, about a month, if you're going to be recording, I don't know, every day, I'd say maybe every fortnight, every 3 weeks maybe. Just click it again just to see what the benchmarks are. If it starts coming down, then just start deleting a few things off that drive just to try and bump that speed back up. Moving on. Oh, sorry, before I forget, folder to save screenshots. You know how to do things like that. Don't worry about it. Just save your screenshots to wherever you want to save them to. Moving on to the hotkeys. Now, I've got that ticked there. Use default setting. That's ticked. Start movie capture is num5 for me. So it's the number 5 in my numpad. That's because the plus and minus that I use. Let me restate that. I use the num5 on my numpad for recording because I used to use the plus sign and I used to use the minus sign, but since playing DayZ mod and DayZ Overclock, there is some sniper variants that use the plus and minus to zoom in and out. So instead of recording and unrecording every time I want to zoom in and out, I just changed it to num5. So execute single screenshot is F11 for me. That's that. Moving on to movie. Now, if you haven't got it, go and download it from Google. Lagarith Lossless Codec. LAGARITHLOSSLESS spaces in between. Go and find Lagarith Lossless Codec if you do not have it. Download it to your computer and then come to codec and select it. That is the best possible codec you can have. Use default setting. Under movie setting is ticked. My keyframe rate is 15. My quality is 100. My date rate is 0. The clipping and the margin, ignore. I haven't touched. I don't need to. Frame rate 29.97. Right there. File output. It's ticked. AVI file format is checked. Scaling now. This is important. Percentage is 100 in there and 100% for me. My size is 1280 by 720. All you need to do is set your resolution there. If mine's 1280 by 720, then I'm going to set my resolution by 1280 width and 720 height. Find out what your resolution is, and the way you're going to do that is, I use Google Chrome, but whatever, go to the internet, type in what's my screen resolution. Okay, top one, click. There you go. You are using 1280 by 720. That's for me. Whatever yours is, the first number is going to be a width, the second number is going to be a height. Okay, first number width, second number height. Perfect. Moving on, audio. I've got 2 channels for audio. The first one is my game, any Skype and TeamSpeak that I might be running. That's pretty much it. And they all come through speakers. Okay? They all come through your speakers. Just your standard speakers, that's where you set it to. These 2 are ticked, by the way. Use default setting and record sound. The second one for me is going to be my Blue Snowball microphone. I don't use a headset microphone anymore. You just use a standard Blue Snowball microphone. But that's that as far as audio is concerned. You just need to make sure that your speakers are there to record your TeamSpeak or your Skype, and more specifically your game audio if you're doing games. Audio streaming for your microphone is going to be on the second one. Now, if you've only got one there and you need a second one, all you have to do is press that plus and it brings it up an extra one. Because I've got 2, it's made me have an extra one, which is 3. Then you just select whatever device it is that you want to record from. I'll minus that off because I don't need it. Both devices, or all devices, are going to be PCM 48,000 Hz 16-bit stereo. Moving on to screenshots. I don't use screenshots, so I've left all that default, so don't worry about it. Advanced, nothing's checked apart from the very bottom box, which is limit video FPS by 60. My processing threads are at 4, and my delay hook is 5. And the global settings, finally, nothing checked on those two. Show task tray icon is ticked. Hide taskbar button when minimised is ticked, and use shared JAV profile is unticked. So that's everything for Dxtory. If you look at your profiles at the top, don't worry about it, just set it to default. Mine's on that because that's the last game I played. When it's set to default, it will automatically detect whatever game you're playing, and Bob's your uncle. So when you get into a game, whatever you set your hotkey to record to, all you need to do is get into game. As soon as the game's started, press your hotkey whenever you want to start recording, and press it again whenever you want to stop recording. That's as much as it is. It'll save into there. And now I am going to be making a new video showing you what happens after you've recorded something, where it goes, and what to do in Sony Vegas when it comes to editing. Okay? I'll start with the basics and move on to the advanced at a later date. But please click on the next video that's coming. Annotation in the top right now. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you're new. Check out my other videos as well. Share them around. Peace!